So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZW Games 5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below. What's up YouTube, Darren from Z4 Games, and as promised I am bringing you my Dark Magician Girl build. Now this is less so pure Dark Magician Girl and more Dark Magician Girl and the family. But again, it still revolves around getting into Quintet Magician. It just takes a different angle to the Dark Magician profile that I showed you yesterday. So, without further ado, I'm going to take you through the profile, show you the little spicy text that I've got in the deck, and explain certain cards that I've left out, and then we'll go from there. So, we start off with the main deck. Now, the main deck, we've got double Dark Magician Girl. This one you only really want to see in your hand if you have the ability to extend into her, and if you have Sage Stone in play, or Sage Stone in hand to then extend the play. The one Lemon Magician Girl. Now, I've tried to minimise the normal summons in this deck, but we actually have a lot more normal summons than usual. But Lemon is quite a nice protective one, as you get to tribute a Magician Girl monster, accept itself, and add a Spellcaster type monster from your deck. So you get to search out 90% of your monster lineup. If not, I'm pretty sure it's 100% actually of your monster lineup. Let me just double check. Yeah, you can pretty much search out 100% of your monster lineup in your main deck. Then of course, if it's targeted for an attack, you special summon one Spellcaster monster from your hand, but its effects, if any, are negated. Then choose the attack, change the attack target to it, and if you do, the attacking monster's attack becomes half. So the whole idea is you're supposed to go like lemon into chocolate, possibly into kiwi as well, or of course you end with Dark Magician Girl, stuff like that. We've got the one chocolate, could be bumped up to 2 if you don't want to play lemon. Chocolate is just there to discard a card and then draw one. Or discard a spellcaster, sorry, and draw one. You've got a lot of spellcasters that you don't mind being engraved because you actually have the way of bringing them back. The one Kiwi. Kiwi is actually very, very important. So during either player's turn, you can discard this card. Magician Girl monsters you currently control gain 300 attack and defense for each Magician Girl monster with a different name on the field and in the graveyard to the end of this turn. Spellcaster type monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, and your opponent cannot target them with card effects. So, it gives boost to your Dark Magician Girl on top of what Dark Magician Girl is obviously going to get a boost from by having Demox and of course Dark Magicians in either player's graveyard. But then on top of that, it also protects all your spellcasters outright. Double Apprentice, because Apprentice is still an incredibly powerful card, so good in the deck. Triple Dark Magician, of course, a Dark Magician deck or a Dark Magician Girl deck isn't complete without this guy. Triple Magician's Rod. A single Magician of Dark Illusion. Now we do not rely on Magician of Dark Illusion as much in this build, but it's still a very, very powerful card to have. And then of course we got the Mac Daddy, and that is the one Democ, purely because I thought let's have the family together. You don't have to play Democ, it's just nice to have him in this deck. He gets to recycle your spells, and you'll see we play a lot of one-offs in the spells, purely because we have Democ in the deck and he's searchable, and you're able to special summon him from deck as well. And then my spicy tech, not so spicy because I've used it a lot of times, is Legion the Fiend Jester. Now the reason I like Legion so much is during your main phase you get to tribute summon one spellcaster monster in face-up attack position in addition to your normal summon or set. You only gain the effect once per turn, and then if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add a spellcaster type normal monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, so he searches you out your Dark Magician. Now, the thing with Legion is, with the other spicy tech in the deck of Instant Fusion, you actually have the ability to get 2 spellcasters on the board that are both dark. So, even if you don't use Legion's ability to tribute summon, you can actually use Legion and the Instant Fusion target, go into a spellcaster link, search out your Dark Magician. If you do choose to use Legion's effect and you have Sage Stone in play, you normal summon your Legion, you can go straight into a Dark Magician Girl, which can then, of course, give you a Dark Magician as well. On top of that, Legion and the Instant Fusion can become a Dark Magician should you wish it to be as well. I really, really like Legion. I know it's not a necessity, it's just my personal choice of using him. But if you wanted to, playing him with Chocolate Magician Girl of the odd chance could also lead you into rank 4s. And then of course we need a hand trap in the deck, so why not go with Effect Veiler, because it is of course a spellcaster. So it helps fuel the graveyard for your Quintet. And this deck definitely pumps out different monsters in the graveyard. Now, this is recorded just after I've recorded the Dark Magician deck as well, so I still actually don't have the answer to the question right now in regards to Quintet and the Magicalized Fusion. By using Magicalized Fusion, how does Quintet register the monsters with different names? Is it in the graveyard or is it in the Banish Zone? Not that it matters too much in this deck because you've got so many different monsters with different names in the graveyard. It really only comes up when you have Dark Magician and Magician of Dark Illusion in the grave. For the spells, we've got triple Dark Magical Circle. If you don't have the money for these, do not worry, you don't have to play these. This deck just required a bit of draw power. So I've got triple Pot of Extravagance in this deck because we do not rely heavily on the extra deck, but we do triple out on the cards or maximise or just bump up the numbers of the extra deck monsters that we do require. Double Instant Fusion, which is the spicy tech that I told you about in the Dark Magician profile. You use this to go into Thousand Eyes, go in second, Millennium Eyes, go in first, and it gives you an additional Dark and an additional Spellcaster in the graveyard that can be used for Quintet, as well as stopping you getting hand trapped as well. Then we've got 2 Magical Eyes Fusion. Now the reason we've got 2 in this is because it actually has more spellcasters and it does burn through them quite quickly, especially with Chocolate a little bit more, Legion a little bit more, Democ. You could actually resolve Quintet twice. Not that you should ever need to, but this one is actually more for, whereas the Dark Magician, it was about consistency and seeing it. This is about consistency and seeing it, but we've also got the draw cast to get to it. You could technically resolve 2 if you wanted to. And obviously you can only activate 1 per turn, but if you are unable to kill your opponent with a Quintet, very, very unlikely, if you've nuked their board as well, you do have the ability to play a second one at a turn later. It's not a necessity, it can be played at 1 if you want to as well. Then we play a lot of one-offs, so we've got the Bond Between Teacher and Student, the Dark Magic Inheritance, the Monster Reborn, Dark Burning Magic, the Dedication Through Light and Dark, and the Sage Stone. Now all of these, apart from the Monster Reborn, of course, are stackable and searchable off of your Dark Magical Circle and Rod. Ideally, you do not want this card in your hand. You want to be setting it off of your Bond Between Teacher and Student. However, you do want to get your Dedication Through Light and Dark because by treating a Dark Magician, you get to special summon a Democ from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So it's always going to be consistent as long as you have a Dark Magician to get rid of. And then, of course, for the traps, you've got triple navigation. I've only got double Eternal Soul in this build purely because I'm relying a bit more on the Dark Magician girls that are a lot more susceptible to the nuke effect of Eternal Soul. However, if you wanted to, you can bump that up to 3, no issues, because like I said, with our plays being Quintet boss monster going for the kill, it's not the end of the world with an Eternal Soul on board, because even if they nuke the Eternal Soul, Quintet is unaffected and cannot be destroyed by card effects outright, which is why, of course, because we're playing Extravagance, we play 3 Quintet. He is your win con, he is your boss monster. You do not want to be banishing all 3 of him. He is the biggest risk that you play losing, alongside the Millennium Eyes and the Thousand Eyes. You do not want to be getting these off of Extravagance, but the chances are it can happen. So you do want to maximise the ability of being able to play through using an Extravagance. The exact same reason why we play 2 Witch's Apprentice and 2 Link Spiders as well, because these are the more important cards in the extra deck that we actually rely on heavily, and we do not want to be losing them outright on an Extravagance. Rounding up, of course, we've got the 1 Crowley, the 1 Red Eyes Flare, and then we've got 2 Ibon Illusion. Again, very, very rare that we're going to rely on these, and there are other cards that you can trial out. So you do have the Photon Strike Bowser, the Naruto, the Moral Leader, the Akashic Magician, and the Big Eye as well as alternative options. If you wanted to go more fusion focused in this build, of course you can put in Eye of Timaeus, Dragon Knight, and Keeper of Dragon Magic, Polymerization, and of course Eye of Timaeus. But that is, of course, down to you as what type of angle you'd like to take the deck in. One card I haven't put in here is Reasoning. Now, the reason I haven't put that card in here, it's still very, very good, very, very usable, hands down, no questions. If you want to put it in here, by all means, do so. The reason I haven't put it in here is because I've tried to keep this as a 40 card deck, and what I don't want to be doing is, because I play a lot of one-offs of the spells, unless I have Democ to get them back, I do not want to be milling all my spells off. Now, it's a very, very poor excuse for not using Reasoning, but like I said, you can easily put Reasoning in if you want to. There's no arguments about that, and I probably will, after a little bit more testing, a little bit more trying out, change this deck up a little bit more and put in those the Reasoning as the one-off, and that could possibly come in the place of Democ and the Dedication Through Light and Dark, because again, it is not a necessity to play him in this deck. It is just a fun build, and I really, really enjoy it, especially with Quintet now. Quintet being made easier to make because of Magical Eyes Fusion just makes it so much better, and a heck of a lot more fun to play around with as well. But that is it for the profile. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. If you do know the answer to that Quintet question, and that was, where does Quintet, the card Quintet, register the names of those spellcasters? If I'm banishing them with Magical Eyes Fusion, does it then register the names when they're banished? Because if so, they will not be treated as Dark Magician. Does it register the name of where they originally were, which will be the graveyard? Which, if so, you do not want to be banishing a Dark Magician and a Magician of Dark Illusion. Not that you really want to be getting rid of both of those, or even a Dark Magician, because you want to use him to bring back to kill the game off. Anyway, that is it for the profile. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and as always, guys, happy dueling. What's up, YouTube? Dad here from YUGIOH. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, please hit that big thumbs up button in the bottom corner as well. And don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you click that notification bell as well so you know every time one of our new videos goes up. Throughout the whole year of 2019, we're going to have more deck profiles, duels, and of course pack openings for you guys to watch and enjoy the entire year round. So stay tuned for more, and as always, guys, happy dueling.